Part 1. The final decades of the Victorian era cloaked the continent in smoke, iron, and ambition. Railways cut through ancient lands like fresh scars, while factories roared louder than church bells. At the heart of the old world stood the kingdom of Ashbourne, ruled not only by tradition but by steel and sacrifice. Prince Alaric Ashbourne was raised among maps, muskets, and the weight of a crown that would one day demand blood. Princess Eloane of Larkspire was no porcelain royal hidden behind silk curtains. Trained in fencing, strategy, and horseback combat, she was whispered about in courts as the rose with thorns. When war ignited between Ashbourne and the Northern Coalition, Eloane refused exile. She rode to the front lines beside Alaric, not as a symbol, but as a soldier. Their love was born not in ballrooms, but in trenches soaked with rain and gunpowder. Beneath gaslit skies, they fought shoulder to shoulder, knowing the war would test not only their kingdoms, but their souls. Part 2. The battlefield at Blackmore Ridge was where legends were forged and broken. Cannon fire tore through the morning fog, and screams blended with the thunder of artillery. Prince Alaric led the Iron Guard with ruthless precision, his uniform stained with mud and blood. Princess Eloane rode alongside him, her blade flashing like lightning through the chaos. Soldiers watched in awe as the princess cut down enemy officers, her movements calm, calculated, and merciless. She fought not for glory, but for survival, and for the man beside her. Between clashes, Alaric would glance toward her, reassured only when he saw her still standing. Yet war is cruel to heroes. As dusk fell and retreat was ordered, Eloane was separated from Ashbourne forces. A unit of mercenaries loyal to the Northern Coalition ambushed her escort. Despite fierce resistance, she was overwhelmed, struck from her horse, and dragged into the shadows of the burning forest, vanishing from the battlefield without a trace. Part 3. News of the princess's disappearance struck the Ashbourne camp like a blade to the heart. Prince Alaric tore through command tents demanding answers, maps, prisoners, anything. Intelligence confirmed the worst: Princess Eloane had been captured alive. The enemy intended to use her as leverage, a bargaining chip to force Ashbourne's surrender. The council urged caution. Negotiations, they said. Delays. Strategy. But Alaric saw only one path. Under cover of night, he abandoned protocol and crown alike. Stripping himself of royal insignia, he assembled a small unit of loyal soldiers, men who would follow him not because he was prince, but because he was willing to die beside them. They crossed ruined villages and frozen rivers, guided only by rumor and blood-stained tracks. Each step deeper into enemy territory hardened Alaric's resolve. He would not trade his kingdom for Eloane. He would take her back by force, or fall trying. Part 4. Princess Eloane was held within the iron walls of Ravenska Fortress, a relic of medieval stone now modernized with Victorian artillery. Chains bruised her wrists, yet her spirit remained unbroken. She studied guard patterns, memorized corridors, and listened. Always listening. The enemy commander, General Hargrove, underestimated her. He saw a royal hostage, not a warrior. He spoke of treaties and surrender, never noticing the way Eloane measured distances, counted footsteps, or tested the weakness of her chains. Each night, she whispered Ashbourne prayers into the darkness, believing Alaric would come, not because of destiny, but because of love forged in war. When explosions rocked the fortress gates just before dawn, Eloane smiled for the first time in weeks. Part 5. Prince Alaric's assault was swift and brutal. Smoke bombs filled the outer yard as Ashbourne's steel clashed against Ravenska rifles. Alaric fought like a man possessed, cutting through guards with raw fury. He reached the inner keep, wounded but unstoppable. Their reunion was not tender, it was desperate. Chains shattered, blades drawn, they fought back to back through collapsing corridors. Eloan reclaimed her sword from a fallen guard, her movements as lethal as ever. Together, they escaped as Ravenska burned behind them. When they crossed back into Ashbourne territory, dawn broke over the hills. The war did not end that day, but legends were sealed. The prince and princess returned not as rulers, but as symbols of defiance. In a world of iron and smoke, love had proven sharper than any blade. END